Hello, welcome everyone. Another episode of Researcher Celebrity. Today we have Dr. Kirti Shila Sonkar with us. A brief introduction of Dr. Kirti. She has done her bachelor's in life sciences from University of Allahabad and master's in biochemistry from University of Allahabad. For PhD in biochemistry, she attended Banaras Hindu University, where also she received CIMO fellowship in University of Turku, where she did part of her PhD in Finland as a visiting PhD fellow. Then she came back to India, completed the PhD, and got the DBT BioCare Women Scientist Award, and worked at ICGB New Delhi as an independent principal investigator. Also awarded as DHR Young Scientist Award during COVID when she worked on the virus, and also awarded Arthro Falaschi Postdoctoral Fellowship for ICGB Italy, where she did her postdoctoral work. Currently, she is principal scientist and team lead at QBiotics in UK and NemDx Limited in US. With this brief introduction, we'll say thank you so much, Dr. Kirti, for taking time out.
Thank you so much, Raja sir.
So we always start these conversations that how and when you decided that you want to become a researcher.
Okay, so actually, I want to just take you in the past. I started my career since I was 10 years old in a residential school known as Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya. It's highly disciplined environment. So from there, when you are started your laboratory classes in your high school, so I got in depth. I started. I like proteins basically means more than like protein and DNA because we have that models inside our laboratory. So I want to understand that in a molecular level how these proteins are so important in our body that they are responsible to keep us strong as well as to give us lots of disease. And also when after that I joined my bachelor's and master's in University of Allahabad. You have there we have a very good infrastructure, very good facility, and nice professors. So there I got more depth into protein. So I decided not only science, I have to work on protein especially. So then you know that then you after that you got to know, okay, how can you become a scientist? Then you realize, okay, you have to clarify a clear exam known as NET, CSI, and JRF. Only then you can have some fellowship because you know the PhD is a very lengthy time and that take your uh, most like precious moment of your life when you're 20s. Like some time that you don't want to waste your time in. And that too, PhD without money, without fellowship, I will not suggest to any kids, any young generation to do go for it. No, if you can clear your net JRF, then only go for PhD. And then yeah, once you're in PhD, then you get a very nice platform how to do this research. And meanwhile, I lost my father because of neurodegenerative disease. So I thought that okay, so I I was already working on protein folding and misfolding, and then I realized that neurodegenerative diseases it is because of this protein misbehavior, and that giving me more strong strength that okay, now I will focus on protein. And then I means in BHO at that time you don't have a structural biology facility like crystallography laboratory, so I moved to Finland. Not moved to, I started looking for some professors who can sponsor me to do my structural biology study. And then I found this CIMO fellowship, CIMO fellowship, with which you can go from India to Finland. This CIMO fellowship is only for Indian students, and it can be from 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, depending on what you want to apply. Yeah, then from there I got a platform, and then I started running on the platform. Yeah.
So you probably are one of our rare researcher celebrities who knew at the age of 10 that what really they want to do. Congratulations for that. You have accomplished a lot.
Thank you.
So let's start with the stage-wise conversation. We always talk about the PhD, as you mentioned that in the sad event when you lost your father for to a neurodegenerative disease, you chose
Yeah,
that okay, now this is something which you really want to pursue. Proteins
yeah,
were always your interest area since childhood. So when you were making these decisions that, okay, I want to do something and the infrastructure is not very like either available there or not very easily accessible and looking for fellowships outside. So if you can tell our audience about it, like the challenges you which were there in front of you, and then you mentioned about the fellowship, how they should navigate if they are experiencing something similar.
Okay, like when I'm talking about myself, when it was 2013. So point to be noted, like in 2013 there was no structural biology facility in BHU, but now we have. So this is the most important. If you already have infrastructure in your own country, in your own laboratory, use it. If you don't have, or maybe sometimes you want to explore outside the world, like you want to go out, like in BHU nowadays they started some fellowship with which kids can go out to explore how different means you should not be inside of one egg. You have to explore the full world. So like for a new generation kid, means first of all they have to focus that what's lacking in their own laboratory. If you have infrastructure, use it. And but if you just want to explore yourself, you want to go outside of the country, look for something bigger. Like in my case, I started working on structural biology crystallography. So still now you have so many techniques that where India is not well sufficient, or you don't have good infrastructure, even though you are in India, not in something like ICGB or big institutes, and you don't have that infrastructure, either going to some other states, like going from Banaras to Delhi, it's better. Apply to abroad. You have a lots of funding at this stage. Maybe if you will go during your PhD to somewhere else like Finland, Europe, you have lots of fellowship. Maybe I can provide you all the links. You can use those fellowship, and that will create a different path. That will open different means that will give you more references. You will get to know more people. That will be helpful after PhD for your postdoc. So, like in BHU, there is a trend that people, even now also, they go abroad to do part of their research of PhD, so that you can have many other supervisor who can support you for your postdoctoral fellowship. So, yeah, I think I answered your question.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think this opens up a new area for the PhD scholars, that when you are
Yeah,
doing this, you're showing that you have the capacity to collaborate, and also you have a wider network, as you mentioned, that which will help them to secure their postdoctoral fellowship. And also one thing which I can say, that it's not only
yeah,
the scientific thing what you experience when you are moving outside India, it's the cultural exchange also which is happening in there. And that is one of the toughest challenge what we feel and what we face when we are moving outside India, or per se anywhere in the world when you are moving outside your country to a country where it is almost opposite or different in your cultural experiences or
yeah,
exercises, but not all. So
yeah.
when you moved to Finland for part of that, how was that experience?
Wow, that's so super weird. Actually, I had a very bad printer. So my hostel, my apartment number was O with two dots. It's known as O. So when my friend printed my address, it came as building O, floor 7. And I went there without my Android phone. I had that touch touch and type phone that at that many people had at that time phone. I literally had just a touch and type of phone, and that too with the SIM card of India. Means nowadays kids are super smart. That will not happen, but that was very worst experience that happened to me. And when I reached there, I started asking other people on the basis of map and address, and nobody can understand English. In Finland, many people are still there who cannot. And also, you have to stay for 30 minutes to wait for single person. Like in the 30 minutes, then I found only one old man. He came, he started talking in Finnish. I could not understand, but he helped me. And it means along with him, I went till my building O. That was not O, but I went there. And when I found it, oh, this is not my building, they said, no, no, there is no accommodation for you. There is no booking on your name. All of a sudden, I don't know what to do now. I at that time, like, you are super young, like 21, 22. You don't know where to go, what to do next. And then somehow I found another girl who helped me. She thought, okay, this is not O, this is O. So we went to that O building, and I found my accommodation. That's the like weird part. But apart from that, the good thing is that I means when you will go away from your country, like then you can understand real challenges of the world, not only science, other challenges like this challenge. Then like you already solving lots of problem in your PhD laboratory. You are always you are having some problem in your experiment, and sometimes supervisor said something to you, you're feeling unhappy. But when you will go to this real world problem, then you will realize, oh, those problems are nothing. There are so many big problem exist. And if you are in other country, like I was in Finland, you have different culture, different language, and obviously different type of instruments. Maybe like if I'm working on protein purification, means like the SGS space gel that we are using in BHU was like totally outdated. And when you went there, you're writing in your CV that, oh, you are very good in electrophoresis and in protein purification, but they will give you ACTA smart version and electrophoresis biored very smart version, like updated one. And then okay, I have to, but it's not a problem. It's people are super helpful. They can tell you how to use these new instruments, and meanwhile that will include in your CV that okay, you learned when you're going to different country, you started learning different types of instruments also. So that's like super helpful for your career. Then only you can become like a, you can say that yeah, you are expert in that field. When you can, like now I can use all type of ACTA, every type of instruments, like then you become like okay, now you know some technique from top to bottom and you are master in it, and you have to develop that inside you so that you can do whatever, means you can become expert in your own field.
Absolutely. And I think that mention about experiencing those situations when you think you got everything under your hand, but it's out of it. Absolutely. These are the things which we mentioned that whenever you are doing research in different countries, from developed to developing and whatnot, all, what we know that basic of science remains the same, correct? Probably the instruments are more advanced, as you mentioned, Kirti. But
Mm-hmm.
what it is even more essential is those soft skills, as you mentioned. Sometimes you don't remember, you don't know the language of that country. You don't know the culture of that country. And experiencing that can be a very challenging part because we all know that being a scientist in the lab is a different life. But when you
Yeah.
are outside and you cannot talk to most of the people there, and then you experience that homesickness, suddenly it kicks in even more, like, in the worst form, because there are not people who you can interact and you can gel
Exactly.
with.
Yeah.
So how did you manage to overcome that? And then, because you did move to different countries after that.
Yeah. So specifically for Finland, I would say that I was super young. So I don't want to change people's thought. I just want to adapt their culture. But when I moved to Italy, I grown up, like you become more experienced. I already had experience from, means that I become expert in my field. Then you need to adapt with their environment. You have to learn their language. In Finland, I never ever tried to learn Finnish, but in when I was in Italy, I had my own daughter. She learned Italian just in 1 month, but I could not. But I have to handle, means I need to, I install Duolingo, and that's like Duolingo everybody is have to use to learn basics like how to say ciao, or like basic things, like so that other people should feel connected to you, even though you cannot speak proper Italian, but you have to understand what they are saying. Means there will be like, if you have to go to post office or anywhere, you will have always difficulty in language. If you are means that's the worst part to be in Europe. In Europe, people speak different language, and you have to, either you have to learn or try to adjust or use Google Translator. So yeah, in Italy we had mostly this language problem, and my daughter is studying in Italian, so I have to help her in her homework, and that too in Italian. Sometimes she asks my help in Italian grammar. Imagine how I can help her in Italian grammar.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But your efforts, as you mentioned, that the people are acknowledges that effort that you are putting into when you are talking to them, and trying to be there in their culture. And adaptability is obviously one of the key ingredient for any researcher in anywhere in this world. That if you are not adaptable, if you are very adamant, then probably the research is going to face more challenges which it faces already. Like everyone has to face challenges in there. So apart from all these cultural differences, if you can share your experience of research, you already mentioned about Finland, like in Italy, and then to and fro from India and outside, in terms of moving countries and establishing yourself all over again and again. Because as we mentioned already, like ICGB already had an independent principal investigator award, and then moving to Italy, and then to in now like in UK. How different is that, and what are the different kind of challenges we face as researchers when moving to one place to another, or either like even including the language and all of this?
Okay. So first I would start from the visa. Like visa is the main problem. Not problem, it's like main struggle. You have to means you have to always go for it and do all this bureaucracy work. But even though you if you are a researcher, you already know that how to do this research for visa. So and second part is that like I am a protein biochemist and structural biologist. So every lab, whenever I am moving, I have to establish my own lab. Like when I was in ICGB Italy with Dr. Sam, already Dr. Sam has a very good infrastructure, but still you need to buy some your stuff. You have to make your own platform, and I had not did a lot, means not a lot of changes in lab structure of Sam's lab. But when I moved to ICGB Italy, I was in Emmanuel's lab, who is working on neurodegenerative diseases, but he don't have any infrastructure for this protein purification stuff. So I bought acta and I bought other stuff that you need to do your research. So it's like that you have to establish your own laboratory every time. Whenever you are switching, you are leaving your own home, more or less. Like you have to build up your own nest again and again and again. And like suppose that like you know that you are in science field. Suppose that some experiment work with your one of the experiment, it's not that it will work with the second instrument. You have to optimize the instrument. So that's the main challenge. That means every time you have to start from scratch, start from building from like like from one amino acid you have to build a full protein. So you have to start from scratch every time, and then you have to know people also, not only lab. You have different types of people, then you have to know how to understand them, how to make them to understand you. And there will be lots of conflicts. They will not, and then ordering stuff, there is different way to order reagents in India. And when you go to Italy, different totally different infrastructure, how to order your reagents and how long will it take for sequencing. And also in Italy, I worked in Electra, that is synchrotron facility. So that's something very good happened. Like when I was in ICGB India, I have to always ship my crystals to Electra. But when you already working in a beamline, that's why I jumped to Electra, because I am a crystallographer. So like you got lots of crystal in your plate, but you are waiting for your beamline time, and then you realize, oh, those are not crystals. They were like just salt crystals. But if you are working in beamline, the moment you have crystal, you can go and check it. Okay, if they are salt crystal or your protein crystal. So yeah, that's like sometimes when you're switching from country to country, from lab to lab, you can get something good and equally something that not in your favor, but you have to change it according to you. Like there is saying, like accept something that you cannot change and change the thing that you cannot accept. So you have to follow that rule. Yeah,
Wonderful.
and
No,
like
that's wonderful.
in
Yeah.
UK, as now I am like opposite side of table. Now I am principal scientist. So I am still following till now Indian culture, like how we were treated when we are opposite side of the desk. But now the things are totally different. Now you have to work with your Gen Z, and they are totally different. So you need to figure out, this is another type of challenge, another type of experiment, how you are going to help your juniors or your senior scientists or scientists so that they can do some experiment that you want them to do, and they should equally understand that why they are doing it. Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. And also when you mentioned about the lab environment, like how it is, sometimes we have seen that people from one kind of environment where it was very supportive and then move to a new lab, a new country where it is not that supportive. In fact, in some cases, actually the toxic environment, they have to
Yeah,
leave
there's
that.
something I don't want to talk. Yeah, yeah, it
No, no,
is.
no. Like we see all these conversations are to give the real flavor that what is the life of a researcher. It's not only publications. Obviously, it is one of the biggest part of it, but that is for the degrees, for all those publications. They all the researchers are true human beings with those experiences where it can be from good, bad, ugly, and we try to bring all the reality of a researcher's life. So, if you can share based on your experience, like how to navigate when you are in a place or in a position where it is not very supportive,
Okay.
what you can tell us.
Okay. Can you repeat your question? Actually, there was a network issue.
Yeah, so I was saying like when you happen to be in a place or in a group where it is not very supportive, how you
Okay.
navigated that, and based on that experience, what you can suggest our next generation that can
Okay.
help them.
Okay. So, uh, in all laboratory, you can get some nasty people for sure. So, mentally prepare that means not everybody will be supportive, as you said that. For sure, you will get somebody like it can be your junior, it can be from your senior side. Like, but in most of the institutes, you have nowadays psychiatrist where you can go and tell your emotions, or maybe you can talk to your own colleagues or supervisor from your past, like PhD supervisor, maybe who is now will become your good friend. Maybe when you're in PhD, they are not your good friend, but once you are in postdoc in other countries, they will be your best friend. So you can talk to them. If still you think that something is bothering you and it's creating mental issue and you are not able to work in such a toxic environment, either change it, as I said that maybe if you are already doing a postdoc in foreign country, that means you are already skilled. You can change the laboratory, but changing the laboratory is not a solution. That could be like last step when you think that nothing can change. Either go and talk to the same person who is creating that negative environment, like please can you stop doing like that, or maybe can you please don't make such a loud. But sometimes people don't listen. They, like in Italy, many people come and they start radio, that too in Italian. It's like literally miss. You cannot ask them that can you please switch off your radio, because other people has no problem. Only you are the one who don't like that sound. But then the person will not change. They will never change. They don't want to stop it. So what can you do? Either you have to adopt yourself or put some headphone or something. Uh, yeah, like there's depends on which type of problem you are facing. If some problem that you can adjust, go for it. If you cannot adjust, try to talk to your supervisor, your colleagues, and the same person who is creating such a negative environment. Maybe some solution will come. If not, I would say that don't stay in that laboratory, change it. I,
Absolutely. And
I,
I
I
think
changed so many laboratories, so I can say that it's very easy to change the laboratory. Yeah.
no, it is very important. And the points which you mentioned, like having those conversations either with the person or concerned in here or with your supervisors, with anyone and everyone you think that you can seek some kind of guidance or help in there. But if not, obviously changing is one of the easy, like not one of the easiest, but I think the most viable option, because now we'll start talking about the mental health here, which is
Yeah.
very important. Now people are talking more than ever the mental health of researchers. So,
Yeah.
based on your experience, whenever, let's say, these are some of the important issues like in lab environment and other, but having those failed experiments, we cannot, escape that part. That the research, either as a PhD student, postdoc, early faculty, at the senior positions, you always have these different kind of challenges, either for only the experiments or for the manuscript submission, rejections,
Yeah.
then grants, acquisition. How you manage that stress, being very sane, keeping your mental health intact, how
Mm.
you manage that, and then based on your experience, what you can suggest to our youngsters, the researchers at early stage in their PhD, postdocs, or looking for faculty positions, how they can prepare themselves for most of this.
Thank you. I think that when we were in PhD, we have different type of problems. But the moment you are stepping forward, like PhD to postdoc to principal scientist or maybe associate professor, assistant professor, your problem will be coming with you. It's means the more senior position you are, the more problems you have. And there, like, I am in a position that I cannot ask for help. Means I have to listen to their problems, and they might be thinking that okay, I am the one who can solve all their issues. But I have to solve my manuscript. Like I told you that I already got lots of revisions, and I need to go through it and grants. And also, if you are in industry, you have to look for investors, and you have always deadline. You are always running late for the deadline, and you are already in a pressure. And meanwhile, you have to solve pressure, means you have to release pressure from your person like senior scientist or scientist. So basically, every Monday, we do a meeting. We call everybody just to let them that like everybody has difficulties, everybody has certain deadlines, everybody is facing certain problems. So just if something is bothering you, come to us. Like at least we can be a very good team. As a team leader, I want to create a very good environment, because I learned from when I was in PhD and postdoc, I faced lots of toxicity. I don't want to build up the same toxicity in our team. So I would suggest that the means future assistant professor, future professor, future team leader, don't create the negative environment where you were before. So just learn from your past and give a better future to your newcomers. And if everybody will be happy, then only you can have a good team. As now I can see that some of the our colleagues are not happy, or maybe sometimes they are crying. So if you cannot go and solve the problem because they are not open to you, you can send somebody else. If they can go and talk to them what the problem is. If the problem is related to experiment, I am there to help them. But if something personal, I cannot do anything. But like in a team, you can take care of their professional problems, not the personal problem. That's sad fact. Maybe for that you have different organization. They can go and talk to psychiatrist or their doctor if they have some other problem. But if they are facing problem related to work environment, it's our responsibility being a team leader to solve it. Yeah.
And I think having that, as you mentioned, having that healthy team, if the environment is really good, then everyone can give their 100% and sometimes even more than that.
Yeah.
If they actually enjoy to be there instead of being unhappy and they are just looking for reasons not to be there, you're just putting them into that extra. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So, talking of this, like when people talk about, like, you have moved so many different countries, different areas, still keeping the research interest intact. Now, in India and also in global level, people start talking more and more of women in STEM. Your experiences, your comment you want to share with our audience. What is
Thanks,
this all
Harrison.
about?
Yeah. Most heart-touching topic. As you know, not about the foreign country, but in India, still women think that okay, they can do some small job. Like basically, I am from Varanasi, so what they think that they can just become like a primary school teacher and they're happy with it, and they don't want to go in a real world challenge. They don't want to do PhD because they are already scared that they cannot do it. So, like after PhD, there are lots of fundings, especially for the women, to give them a motivation or encourage them or give them a platform. Like I, after PhD, I applied for this DBT Women Scientist BioCare grant. There are like such that there are so many other grants for women. Mine was not like there is another fellowship. I think DST Women Scientist. If you have undergone to maternity or after marriage, if you have some certain gaps, you can apply for that grant, and that will give you a good amount of grant, and you can start your own laboratory. You can become your like principal investigator, like as I was principal investigator, and I have a co-PI there who can support you. So from there you can get this strength that okay, you are something, you are a very good women scientist, not only women. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
means
I think that having that confidence is obviously very important too. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. And means there are other fundings also. I don't remember, like especially to support women scientists. There are so many grants, and means they are just keeping in mind that yeah, because there are many women who need it. Like I have many friends who are very good, very talented students, but just because they got married, they got kids, they think that okay, they are done. They have means now they have that much gap in a career. They don't know where to go, what to do. So for those career gaps, if you have a career gap, it's good. Like for them, they have different grant, and only the person who are eligible are those who have certain gaps because of their marriage or because pregnancy.
Absolutely. And I think and that is part of the reasons why we discuss these topics in here, that the same thing, if it is happening to men, nobody says anything, correct? They got their kid or married. Everyone thinks like it's normal. But where the thing is, we should be talking about equality, that either in STEM or outside, everywhere. Why not? So then here we see that there, in like not everywhere, but there are places where this discrepancy is there, that how do you choose about it? But thanks to this developing thought that now we are trying to keep everyone at the same page. And as you mentioned, if you happen to be an audience who happened to be a woman and had to leave the research for different reasons, there are fellowships, there are opportunities which are available for you, and sometimes only for you, so that you can come back and pursue your dream of being a researcher and enjoy to the limit you want. And as you can see, that Kirti is enjoying, obviously, her research and all the excitement it comes with. We talked about all the, like, mixed good and bad feelings of how it feels to be a researcher. How about that, about all of these uh, toxic experiences, about all of those failed experiments, all of that, the troubleshooting which you did, what were the most important things which kept you going in your research?
Thanks, Raja. Actually, now I just shifted from academia to industry. So means like in academia, you are doing just biological science and you have to publish a paper. But when you are in industry, then you can understand, okay, you can use all those information, all those knowledge to make a product for world. Like now I am developing a diagnostic kit that can early diagnose Alzheimer's or other neurodegenerative diseases. So when I can see that I have a kit and that's developed by me and I can our team, and now we have already launched that product and we tested more than 2,000 patient sample from worldwide. So now when you know that okay, your research, you can see it that it's working and it is useful for patients and doctor.
Right. Having that
So now
translational.
like you can, it means you can make some diagnostic for humanity. Yeah.
So it's like you see the real-time impact of your research, having that translated from lab to the patients, and then now the doctors are recommending, patients are getting benefited of that. Absolutely, that for sure is one of the motivating force behind all the researchers, and they enjoy it even after all the challenges they faced or the adversities they have to go through, especially for troubleshooting. Sometimes it's working well, sometimes it's not. Then what are the basic differences and how you can overcome that? Talking of these transformational part, and you touched upon another topic which is very important to have some thoughts known here. Like when people talk about research in academia and research in industry, you have experienced both well. What are some key factors which you want our audience to understand, that how it feels or how is it different or similar in way?
Okay. So first thing that in industry you are always having deadlines. And like in academia you are super relaxed. You can take it as a positive point or negative, and I don't know, depending on you. If you want to enjoy, uh, like in my own family, my husband is in academia still, and I jumped to industry. So I can see that if you want to feel pressure, you can feel pressure everywhere. But I would say that in industry you have more pressure in terms of deadlines. But meanwhile, you have to only work from 9 to 5. Nobody will say to you to be there after 5. If you're working after 5, you will get extra money like overtime. So that's something, I'm talking about lifestyle. But in terms of research in academia, you are doing, as I mentioned, biological science, and there your only target is to publish a paper or get a grant. But if you are in industry, you are not focused on research paper, but more than that, you want that your technology should be helpful to make it as a product. Means either it can be diagnostic kit or it can be some medicine, some drug. So you are looking for something that you can launch in the market or that can be helpful in a realistic way to a patient or to a doctor. So that I think that that's a major difference between academia and industry. And that's why I like both academia as well as industry. If you're very good in teaching, if you want to be a professor, if you want to be a PI, or if you enjoy to be a postdoc, it's good to be in academia. But after a while, when you already did like your 4 or 5 postdocs, either if you're happy, not a problem. If you're not happy, you have to change your path like I did. I did 3 postdoc. I said that no, I don't want to be a postdoc. I need my own research laboratory where I can use my all these skills. Miss, what you learned a lot since your childhood, in your bachelor's, master's, PhD, postdoc. You have to use it. Like I at Miss now I think that I'm like I have all the skills, how I can use all my knowledge to make it as a product, to make it as a biosensor or kit, or maybe now we are going to open a diagnostic lab also. So like we have all the information, just you need a correct path. You should know where to stop and where to change your path. Yep.
Absolutely. I think that is very important. And another topic, like when we talk about academia versus industry, how about the work-life balance you experienced and you can share?
Okay. I think that I'm happy now in industry because you
Okay.
have to just work for 9 to 5, although you have a deadline. But if you have properly planned and you know your priorities, then you will be able to do in 9 to 5. Like still, I just came in industry 8 months before, so I'm still in a learning phase. I'm not a very best person to answer how to face all these challenges. I'm still in a learning mode, but still I am very much happy now in comparison to when I was in academia. Because in academia, you always have some supervisor on your head, and you have to follow the protocol or the project that you yourself have written. You cannot change single objective. And but if you're in industry, you can change your means your project, your objective, and you can do best what you want to do.
Absolutely. I think does, yeah, it does give you that extra freedom that what is more important, as you mentioned, either you are developing a product or services to make the life better for doctors, patient, pets, based on what is your area of expertise. And so it's sometimes it's not even product, sometimes it's just how you can improve those services there. And then having that said, it gives you that flexibility also that if something is not working, you are on a time machine, then you can just scrape the entire project once and then start all over, which is not that flexible in when you are working in academia. Wonderful. So now at the edge of the conversation, I would like to ask you if you can give some word of wisdom, what we say essentially, but what it means is based on your own experience, how uh, the researchers at different stages in their life can keep themselves motivated in those tough times, because when everything is working well, you don't need any support, correct? Then you are like, oh wow, everything is great, I'm getting uh, grants, papers published, everything awesome. But when they are not going the way you want to, like you want them to go, like accepted manuscripts getting like different manuscripts rejected, grants rejected, not working experiments, how they can still keep themselves motivated.
Okay, I will take my example. Like few of my paper are still pending from my postdoctoral research, and it's not that they got rejected; they never get submitted. And I don't want to tell you why they did not. Everybody knows the reasons. So if either I should stay in my past, keep crying in a room, that's not a solution. So you have to change. Like, miss suppose that your 3 manuscript got rejected or your some grant got rejected. That's not the end of the world. Sky is the limit. So just try to think about something. I know that people will not accept it, my my thoughts, but it's still like if your paper are rejected, means it's getting rejected. That means you have to change your path, change some career orientation, go to look for some other laboratory, totally change your field, maybe or try to do some changes. Like if you are in the age of like 30, 35, whatever, means if you will stay there for more 4 years, you will become 40, then it will be more difficult. So if you think that, first try to fix it, means try to submit your manuscript in, or maybe try to change your manuscript or do more experiment. If you got some reviewer comment, try to revise your manuscript. And if you are thinking that it will be published, you can publish your paper, like maybe in a lower impact factor, but for sure it will get published if you want to means make it publishable. Like I have many papers like that got rejected 5 times, 7 times, but they will get published after you have to modify it, you have to do more experiment or something. Like you need to understand how to make your paper publish means in a publication quality, because you are a researcher. That means something is lacking in your manuscript, or maybe that doesn't have some novelty. That's first thing for manuscript. And for grants, yeah, means grants is literally very much challenging nowadays in India. I understand. So try to focus on, like if you are a PI or assistant professor, then you have to be only in India. I don't know if you can apply to foreign countries and get money inside the India. But if you're a postdoc, like in my case, I wrote arthrophallacy fellowship in Italy. Meanwhile, I wrote DHR grant, and and I got both DHR grant as well as arthrophallacy fellowship. So then, if you will apply more than one, like 2, 3, 4 at the same time, because it will take a lot of time. It's not that you apply today and you will get the result tomorrow. It will take 6 months. So try to write so many grants in different countries, different types, and maybe out of 4, maybe if 2 will get selected, you have now 2 options to move on where you want to. Yeah.
I think that's very intelligent also. Like when you have options in your hand, you can pick from them. That was a wonderful wrap up and word of wisdom for all of our researchers there who are watching this conversation. To all of you, I can say that if you want to write to Dr. Kirti, you saw there are so much of information available to you on the internet, but talking to a person who have gained those experiences, won those awards, you can write to her. If you want STEM for Society to put you in touch with our researcher celebrities, we are there to support you. With this, we'll say thank you so much, Dr. Kirti, for taking time out for this conversation.
Thank you so much, Raja. Okay.
To all the audience now, I can say that stay tuned for another episode of Researchers Celebrity.